Yeah, guys, coming to the today's concept, we're going to discuss. Yeah, can say. Yeah, so you can see over the screen, guys. Today we'll be discussing about. We can say what is IAM, why it is important, and what is incident, and what is incident response, and the incident response life cycle, and what are the malwares, different types of malwares, how the malwares get infected into your system. So, and what are the mitigation techniques like countermeasures what we need to take in order to avoid the malwares, right? So we will be having good session over here today. So we'll be discussing good important concepts over in the case of security plus, we can say. Okay, so let me start with our today's session. Yeah, so we can say digital access to the company assets. Every corporate company is maintaining the assets, right? So digital access to the company assets, they're going rapidly, right? So growing rapidly, right? So organizations are need to secure. I mean, they need to secure ways for their employees in order to access their resources, right? So identity and access management. This software, we can say this software solution which helps the companies in order to keep their data safe by providing rule based access. Okay, we can say, I will write rule based access, okay, to their employees. Like it means every employee, they will like employees only get access to the information they need to perform their job functions, right? In order to perform their job functions. So most, we can say most IAM tools also include password managers, like to in order to securely store the login information for easy employee access. We'll be using identity and access management. So we can say identity means, we can say profile, right? So we can manage the profile, we can give the permissions, we can manage the permissions, and we can manage the access, and we can unlock and lock the system, we can disable the things over the in in the corporate office, right? And also we can manage the access controls, and we can create a good profile for this particular user, right? Yeah, guys, so that's what we can do. That is what we can do with the identity and access management. So we can say it enables the right individuals to access the right resources at the right time for the right reasons. Okay, so that is, we can say, identity and access management, IAM. Yeah, going to the next slide, right? What is the difference between identity management and access management? Authentication, we can say, it is a process of verifying who someone is, whether that his authorization is the process, right? Like we can say we will be having username and password, right? Every every authorized user must be authenticated, right? Every authorized user must be authenticated by giving their credentials. He must be authenticated, right? So that we can call it as an authentication, right? So authentication is process of verifying who that particular user is, right? So authorization in the sense, like we can say, yeah, so the process of determining what rights and privileges of a particular entity or particular person is having. Okay, like the process to the authorization, guys. First, identification will be happening, right? So after that, what will happen? Next, authentication will be done. After that, we will be moving into the authorization, right? Identification, authentication, authorization, right? So that is what we can say. Authorization means the process of determining what rights and privileges of a particular person is having, right? So after identification and authentication successful, we will be into the authorization. We will be authorized person, right? Yeah. Yeah, identity management. Okay, we can say identity and access management, which will ensure that right people and the job roles in your organization. Okay, let's say in any organization, they can access the tools they need to their jobs, right? So identity management and access system, like we can say access system, enable your organization to manage the employee application without logging into each application as an administrator, we can say. So we can say identity and access management systems which will enable the organization to manage the range of identities, like including people and softwares, hardwares, so that kind of things, right? So that is what we can say identity and access management. So main difference we can say, guys, identity management means it will confirms that you are uh, who are you, and it will stores the information about you. Okay, like identity management database hold information about the identity. Okay, like for example your job title and your direct reports and and you authenticates that you are right, and the person described we can say in the database, so that we can call it as identity management. Access management in the sense it will uses the information what about that identity management is having, and it will determine which software shoots and you are allowed to access that particular thing or not. Okay, so that is access management. Over here we can say the advantages having IAM in the company, like improved user experience we can say, like with the implementation of IAM tools, guys, that IT administrators they can create unique digital identity for every user, right? So which will include a set of credentials, right? So what is the purpose of the creating and digital identity for the particular user, which will eliminate the like we can say big task of the user to in order to manage the dozens of accounts, so multiple accounts for various corporate applications and resources, right? So we can improve the user experience over here by using IAM, right? And reduce the password issues. Okay, like we can say apart from enabling the user like so single sign on, the name itself is telling that uh, no less password, single sign on in the sense, let's say best example for this, you will be logging into this Gmail account, right? So whenever you logging into the Gmail account, the right side you can see you can access to the drive, you can access to the Google what we can say Google links, that Google Drive, right? Google Sheets, right? So everything you can access right over here. So you can create an account and you can log into the particular account, and using that you can use multiple applications over there, right? Yes, we can use multiple applications by using single sign-on. Okay, and coming to the reduce password issues, guys, like we can say IOM solutions prevent many password-related issues, like managing the passwords, and we can say forgetting the user credentials. Also, it will be reduce the password issues. Okay, because we will be having multiple passwords for multiple applications over in the industry, right? So whenever you're using multiple things over there, it is very hard to remember, right? So it will reduce the password issues in the industry, in the company. Okay, like we will be using this IAM tool will offer password management features, like we can say it will offer like it will help the security admins in order to implement password best practices, like we can say uh, multi-factor authentication and biometrics and role-based access, that kind of things we can say. So IAM solutions help business in order to implement the security policies across all the systems, like platforms, like applications and devices. So what is the benefit of it, we can say, which will make it easier to identify security violations, like whenever you are violating the security things, so we can easily identify and we can remove inappropriate access privileges, and we can revoke the access whenever we need it, right? So we can say that is enhanced security and improved efficiency of security teams. What it means? Improved efficiency of security teams. It means, like we can say, improving the security posture of the organization. Like the most significant benefit of IAM is improving the efficiency, okay, and effectiveness of a security teams. So with the help of IAM tools, the security admins can grant access, they can grant access rights, and based on the principle of least privileges of the particular user roles, right? So this will ensure the users, including the clients, employees and contractors, like we can say third party vendors and partners, stakeholders, right? So it can be quickly, efficiently organized with the only we can say the right access. Okay, so we can improve the efficiency to the security teams, and we can say improve regulatory compliances, and we can reduce the IT operating costs and all. Okay, like when you are dealing with the what we can say, regulatory compliances, HIPAA, GDPR, CCPA. So that kind of things, it will be regulate the standards, compliance standards, and reduced IT operating cost. Okay, as per the survey, almost 30 to 50% of the help desk calls are, we can say, password resets. Okay, so we will be calling whenever we forgot the code in the in the industry, in the office. So we will be calling the help desk people for the password resets. Am I right? So we can say on an average a password reset cost an organization around, we can say, 70 US dollars, like we can say, right? So IAM solutions help the organization save this cost by minimizing the need of deal with the user account related issues. Okay, so in order to avoid the burden on the IT operations and all, so we can also use, we can reduce the IT operating cost by using IAM, identity and access management. Yeah, so basically how does IAM work? How does IAM work, guys? You can see. So there is an entity, right? There is an entity. One sec. So what it will do first? So whenever user enters a username and password, okay, it will go to the database and it will verify the details. And after you verifying your details, okay, app access approved or denied, you will be allowed to access few applications and you are not allowed to access few applications, right? So that is, we can say, authentication. And authorization, in the case of authorization, guys, you can see, we will be assigned editor privileges. Okay, like we can say IAM allows narrow slices, like we can say access to be partition, like whether you are editor or whether you are viewer or commenter. So that will be assigning that kind of roles over here. Okay, so we can editor privileges, make changes to the content and all, and admin only privileges only for the admins. Okay, so that is what that IAM will work, based on authentication and authorizations will be there. And what does IAM will do, guys? What does IAM will do? The main things we can say, it will manage user identities. The first thing is, it will manage, the user identities, you can say. So IAM systems can be, what we can say, used to create, okay, like user to create or modify or delete the users, right? So it may integrate with one or more other directories, like we can synchronize with them. Okay, so by using IAM we can create and delete and modify the usernames. Okay, manage the user identities is, we can say, first case, we can say first advantage what we can do with the IAM. Okay, and we can provisioning and deprovisioning the users, like specifying which tools, which tools and access levels that person should have. Okay, whether that particular person is editor or viewer or administrator, to grant user is called provisionism. Okay, so IAM tools allow IT department to provision the user by role, by department, we can say. Okay, like role based access control, that kind of things. And we can authenticating the users by using IAM, we can authenticating the users, like user by confirming that who are they, and what we can say, secure authentication means MFA, right? So we will be using multi-factor authentication, guys. What is mean by multi-factor authentication? What is mean by multi-factor authentication? Second layer security. Okay, so multi-factor authentication, guys, we will be having authentication controls, right? Authentication factors. Something you are, something you have, something you do. Any idea about that? Something you are, something you are, and something you do. that something you have. Okay, so that are the authentication factors. If you integrate any of these two things, we can say multi-factor authentication, that kind of things. Okay, multi-factor authentication. Today, the secure authentication means multi-factor authentication, and we can say, so what we can do with the IAM guys, we can authorizing the users. Okay, we can authenticating the users, and we can authorize the users, and we can manage the users, and reporting. We can do the reporting also. Like basically, IAM tools generate a reports after most actions take on that particular platform, like number of login time, uh, we can say system access and type of authentication. So everything will be stored in the IAM. We can make a report for that particular thing. In order to ensure the compliances and security risks, we can maintain the report for that. Okay, yeah. So that is bit about, yeah, IAM guys. So these are the we can set up IAM tools guys. We can say CyberArk, TwinGate, Cisco, Cerberus, or we can say Arkil, Okta, IBM, and we can say SailPoint. Okay, so these are, we can say, IAM tools in the industry. Okay, IAM tools. CyberArk, and we can say Okta, SailPoint, we can say top of the level, we can say, in the case of IAM tools. These are the IAM solutions. And guys, next, what is incident? What is meant by incident? Anyone? Anyone? What is meant by incident?
Uh, Say we have like an event or an alert in a server, so we can log an incident to the appropriate team to rectify it.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
okay.
it's 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 more like a real-time response rather than uh, a scheduled activity.
Mm, okay, perfect. So, what is the different from the event? How it will different from event? Is event, is incident both are same?
Uh, Event is like for an asset like a server, a network switch, a storage array. Incident is it's kind of like you
Okay,
have it's kind of like a tool, where you can for either for any asset. It's
yeah, like okay, single. Okay, there is a question. Each activity on the application network can be treated as event. Yes, Surendra. Okay, perfect. Interrupts with normal functionality in the system. Any open source IAM? Yes, open source IAMs are there, but there is a certain limit for that. We can say Keycloak is there, free IPA is there, okay, CAS is there, and we can say Sofid is there, Midpoint is there. These are the few open source IAMs, guys. There are a lot of things available, but up to certain things we can use it for the IAM open. And yes, each activity on the application network can be treated as event. Yeah, okay. Like we can say, guys, yeah, the difference between incident and event, we can say security incident differ from, we can say it is different from the event, security event, right? Like which will pose a higher risk to an organization, right? So security events indicate that a system might be compromised, but it could also result from other issues. Okay, like we can say login attempt, that kind of things. So events are relatively easy to resolve and usually represent isolated risks. Okay, so like we can say, for example, you have received one spam email. Okay, you have received one spam email. A spam email is an security event. Okay, let's say you have received one spam email. This is a security event. But if you click on this particular link, okay, if you click on that particular link in the email, so it could be considered as an incident. So whenever you receive spam email, that we can call it as an event. Okay, so whenever you open that mail and you click on that particular link, okay, that we can be considered as an incident. So why we can consider, because that is incident means it may expose the system to malware or a phishing attack, we can say that, right? So that is incident. So you have received one mail, that is we can say spam email. When you open that particular email and click on that particular link, phishing link, so that we can treat it as an incident. Okay, so basically in the organizations, guys, in the organizations, we can say thousands of millions of security events will be receiving every day, right? So which they handle with automated tools like single event is, we can say, unlikely, we can call it as um, it will be result in information breach that can severely impact the organization, right? So we'll be using the automated tools in analyzing the events and all. So incidents basically raised based on the rules what we are configuring over the solutions. Okay, if you take the sim solutions under the SOC environment, guys, we will be playing around with events, we'll be playing around with incidents, right? And whenever the incident alert is generated means something we have configured misconfiguredly and some malicious thing is happened over there. So that's why we'll be getting the incidents. So we will be working on that particular incidents, whether it is false positive or whether it is true positive and all. So that kind of things we need to analyze over there, right? So that is, we can say, incident. So incident, we can say, which will expose the we can say already something, yes, whenever you done something, okay, you done malicious, when you click on the malicious things, so that can be treated as incidents. Yeah, so what is mean by incident response? What is mean by incident response? What is mean by taking action on that particular incident? Okay. Yeah, instant response, we can say IR, is the process, we can say, is the effort to quickly identify an attack in order to minimize the effects or contain the damage, or we can to remediate the cause in order to reduce the risk for the future incidents. We can call it as incident response. Let's say whenever the incident is raised in the organization, whenever the incident is happened in the organization, okay, so working on that particular incident and finding the reasons for that and closing that particular incident, and in order to avoid for the future risk and future attacks, we will be doing the incident response, right? So that is a, we can say, that is a separate team for that incident response. It will be under, we can say, SOC environment. Okay, so that is incident response. So when we coming to the incident response, there is a life cycle. Okay, so how that our security professionals will be doing the incident response, right? So what can be the preparation, guys? There is a 5 phases, so you can see over the screen 6 phases. Okay, so whenever the incident is happened in the organization, first they will start with the preparation, next they will be identification is there, containment is there, and eradication, finally recovery, and we can sub post incident activity. What is that? So first, what is mean by uh, uh, preparation, guys? What is mean by preparation? What will happen in the preparation? Anyone? What is mean by preparation in the case of incident response life cycle? Strengthening the SOC. Okay, preparation. Anyone? Yeah. Okay, no worries. Yeah, guys, you can see incident response life cycle first. The first phase is preparation. In the preparation, guys, in the preparation, what will happen? So that company and that people will be creating a team for that particular incident. Okay, let's say for we can say incident has raised. Okay, incident is happened in the organization. First, we will create a team and we can prepare a forensics lab for that. Okay, and we will be creating our toolkit over there. Okay, so what we are going to working on that particular toolkit will be developing over there. Okay, and we'll be creating a team. Okay, because why? Because telling that creating a team in the sense, so we'll be selecting a team over here. Few will be good at compliances and standard, few will be good at cyber security analyst, few will be good at analyzing the logs, right? So we will be taking a team over here. Okay, we'll be taking a team over here, and we'll be creating a forensic lab, and we'll be maintaining a toolkit for that. Okay, so that we can say preparation in the sense, so we'll be preparing everything for that particular incident. Okay, yeah. Next, identification. What is mean by identification, guys? What will happen in the case of identification? So we can say identification means, yeah, okay, it means it is a process through which incidents are detected. Okay, ideally we can say to enable rapid response, and we can say reduce the cost and damages. So we will be following this incident response, right? We can say uh, a detection and analysis. Okay, we can say detection and analysis. How you will identify that particular incident? Like we can say source IP address. Okay, we can say whether it is false positive or not, and log sources, and when it was happened, and we can say impact, what could be the impact, and we can also give priority over here. Okay, in the identification, so we will be giving the priority for that particular incident, whether it is P1, P2, P3, or P4, we can say. Okay, impact and priority, when it was done, when it was happened, source IP addresses if there is any, and log sources, that kind of things will be identifying in the second phase. Okay, and third phase, what is meant by containment, guys? Containment, the name itself is telling containments. Yes, just the as identifying the issue and the teams needed. Yes, that is preparation. Yes, yeah. What is meant by containment? What is meant by containment? Any idea? Yeah, containment in the sense, the name we can say itself, isolation, guys, preventing further exposure. Okay, okay, isolation, right? Let's say, let's say this is an organization and having multiple client workstations, we can say multiple systems. So this system is got infected with the malware. So what we will do? First, we will isolate this machine from the network, right? So that is containment, we can say. Okay, so that is containment. If anything is infected in that particular system, first, the very first thing what we will do, we will do the containment. We will be isolate that particular machine from the network. Okay, next, eradication. Eradication in the sense, anyone? Eradication. In the eradication, guys, in the eradication, what we can do is, so basically, we can say we will be removing the malware. or we can say something, whatever is infected in that particular system, we will be removing that, and we will be finding root cause analysis. What is meant by root cause analysis? Root cause analysis. Yes, main problem. Okay, when it was happened, where it has happened, if we execute that thing, what will happen, and what is the impact of that particular thing. Okay, everything. Root cause analysis, we can say. Okay, so how that hacker has targeted, if it is executed, so what things it will disturb and how much it will disturb. So that kind of things will be finding. Root cause analysis will be done at eradication part, right? Now in the fifth phase, recovery. Recovery means recovery. Recovery. Recovery means like, we can say, can we say restoring? Restoring. Okay, restoring the data, or we can say coming back to your normal situation. Okay, that is recovery. Okay, so we can say recovery in the sense, what will happen in the recovery? Bringing back to the services. Yes, Jasdeep Singh, perfect. Bringing back to the services, or we can say, what we will do in the recovery phase, we will be re-verifying whether that particular malware has removed or not. Okay, re-verification done at something over here in the recovery. Okay, and finally, what we'll be having, we will be having post incident activity. Post incident activity, or we can say lessons learned. Okay, so what it means, like we can say, lessons learned or post incidental activity, we can say is a critical phase of incident response because it helps the educate and improve the future incident response efforts. Okay, so this is the step that we can, that organization, that what it will give, it gives the organization the opportunity to update their incident response plans. Okay, so this is the important phase, guys. We can say, whenever you up to till this part, whatever the issue you have faced, what are the mitigation techniques you have taken, you have to apply everything over here in order to avoid same kind of attacks and all. So we will be updating over here the post incident activity, right? So that is what we can say. We can say lessons learned. Okay, ensure the cause of the problem was solved. Okay, that is in the recovery phase, that is in the recovery phase. In the post incident, in order to avoid same kind of attacks or same kind of incidents in the future, so we will be updating the what we can say, update the incident response plans. Okay, with the information whatever we are received over here. Okay, whatever we have missed during the incident and all that, everything will be updated over here. Okay, that is post incident activity, we can call it as lessons learned. Okay, after the incident. And there is a arrow mark, guys, there is a arrow mark from the recovery to the identification. What it means, from the recovery to the identification, so whenever you are re-verifying the particular thing, so if you found something malicious, that malware is not what we can say not removed, means you will be sending that part to the identification again. In the identification, what will happen, again we'll be doing the detection and analysis, and how it will identify, like for the log sources, when it was happened, and impact, priority, everything will be going for the again identification. Again the cycle will run over here. Okay, so once you're done with the post incident activity, lessons learned, and updating the incident response plans, again it will go to the preparation again whenever the incident is happened. So this is the incident response life cycle, guys. You need to remember. So whenever the incident has raised, we will be following this kind of life cycle. This life cycle, we can say. Yeah. So what is digital forensics, guys? What is forensics? What is forensics? Means analysis. Okay. So what we can do in the digital forensics? So we can say digital forensics, guys. We can say it is a process of identifying, preserving, okay, identifying and preserving and analyzing and documenting digital evidence. Okay, so this is done in order. Okay, what we can say, preserving, analyzing, documenting, identifying, preserving, analyzing, and documenting. So this is done in the order in order to present the evidence in a court of law when it is required. Okay, so digital forensics is a process of identifying, preserving, analyzing, and documenting digital evidence, right? So that we can call it as a digital forensics. So, yes, digital forensics is the process of uncovering and interpreting the electronic data. So basically the goal of the digital forensics is to preserve any evidence in its most original form while performing a structured investigation by collecting, identifying, and validating the digital information to reconstruct past events. Okay, so that we can call it as digital forensics. So there will be steps, guys, there will be steps in the digital forensics, like we can say, yeah. So identification, preservation, analysis, and documentation, and presentation, right? So first, when it comes to the digital forensics, in order to in order for, we can say, digital evidence to be accepted in a court of law, it must be handled in a very specific way. Okay, so that there is no opportunity for the cyber criminals or the cyber attackers to tamper with that particular evidence, right? So that's why the first phase is identification. So the we can say first find the evidence, noting that where it is stored. Okay, that is identification, we can say. And next, preservation. It means next isolate it, secure it, and preserve the data what it contains. So what it includes exactly, preventing the people from possibly tampering with the evidence, that is preservation. We need to keep it that evidence in a secure place, you can see. And next, analysis. What we can do in the analysis, like next we will be reconstruct fragments of data and whatever the draw and conclusions based on the evidence found. So we will be doing analysis, whatever the information we are preserving, that we are doing analyzing on that particular thing. And documentation finally, right? Documentation is in sense we can create a record of all the data, and in order to recreate the crime scene and all that kind of things, we'll be doing the documentation and attack things and all. And the presentation finally, we can say, we will be summarize it and we'll draw a conclusion for that. Okay, so that is, we can say, digital forensics. So we can say the phase one, what we'll doing is the first response, like, so first the action will be performed right after the occurrence of a security incident is known as the first response. Okay, it is highly dependent on the nature of the incident, we can say. And next, what we will do, once the incident is happened, we will search and seize that, right? So under this search and seize phase, the professional search for the devices involved in the carrying out of that particular crime. So these devices then carefully seized and extract the information out of them. And we can say finally collect the evidence, like after this search and seizing the phase, our professional use acquired devices in order to collect the data. Okay, they will use different kind of tools and different types of devices in order to collect the data from that particular device. So they have well defined forensics methods will be there in order to get the data from that particular evidence. And secure the evidence, we can say, like the forensic staff should have access to the safe environment. Okay, they can secure the evidence, they can determine if the collected data is accurate, we can say. Okay, and finally data acquisition, guys, will be happening. So once you're done with all this stuff, so data acquisition is the process of retrieving the electronically stored information, that is ESI. Let's say in one device it contains, this is the evidence, it contains some electronically stored information, right? In order to grab, in order to push the data from that particular thing, so we will be using we can say forensic methods. Okay, so in order to retrieving the information from that particular device. Okay, next we will be analyzing the data. Okay, and finally we will be doing documentation and report for that. Okay, so that is what will happen in the digital forensics. So many tools will be there in the digital forensics in order to do that kind of things. Yeah, so guys, next concept we can say, what is malware? Okay, before going for the malware, guys, one sec. Yeah, there will be tools called forensic tools, like we can say FTK, Imager, okay, Explico. So these kind of tools will be using in the forensics. Okay, in the investigation purpose. Yeah, yeah. First, when coming to the malwares, guys, the next concept is malwares. What is meant by malware?
Malicious software.
Malicious software. Okay, yes. Mal in the sense malicious, where in the sense software, right? Malicious software we can say. So what it will do, guys, what it will do, what malwares will do, guys? Okay, let's say malware is, we can say, any type of software which are created to harm or exploit another piece of software or hardware, right? So we can say basically these malwares created by the cyber attackers with the intention of gaining access or causing damage to a computer, or we can say to a network or to a server, anything, right? So that is what. So what does malwares do is, like, malwares can crack the passwords, right? Malwares can crack weak passwords, they will bore into the systems, okay, and they can spread through the networks, right? So we can say there will be a lot of malware, right? They can lock up important files, right? And whenever you click on that malware link and all, it will be redirected to the malicious website. So malware attacks can result in anything from the data theft, or we can say destruction of entire systems can happen. Okay, so that is what we can say. Malware is the root of the most cyber attacks, guys. So malware is the, we can say, root of the most cyber attacks, including like large scale data breaches. Okay, we can say that. So malware is the key to the attackers. They will use the malwares and they can launch the most cyber attacks. Okay, so that is malware. Malware is nothing but malicious software, we can say, right? So can anyone name different types of malwares? Rootkit is just the perfect. Rootkit, good, good, good one. Okay. Virus, Trojan virus, ransomware, worm, perfect, perfect, Muthu Selvan, Jezip, perfect, super. Yeah. So before going for the different types of malwares, so my question is over here: why malwares programmers develop and use malware? Why the attackers will develop a malwares? There will be many reasons, right? Like we can say personal benefits and all, right? So like they will, for money. Yes, we can say that, so basically the attackers develop a malwares, they will be doing attack on browsers, and they will be tracking the website whatever you are visiting. And what they can do, they can slow down your system's performance, and they can degrade your system performance, we can say. And sometimes if malware is infected, they can cause to the hardware failure also, hardware failures, right? They can steal personal information, including contacts and all. And they can erase valuable information in your system, right? So the many reasons will be there, right? For the ransom, they will develop the malwares and they will use it, right? So yeah, so what are the common techniques used by the attackers in order to distribute the malware on the web? Let's say as a attacker I have developed a malware. Okay, this is an internet. I want to publish this malware over the internet. Okay, what are the common techniques I need to use in order to distribute the malware over the web? Yes, phishing. Yes, phishing, we can say. Yes. Yes, malvertising, we can say. Spear phishing, we can say. Phishing, we can say. Spam emails. Yes. We can say compromised legitimate website, we can use it. And drive by download, through the downloads also. And by using social engineering attacks also, we can distribute the malware over the web, right? We can distribute the malware over the web, right? And yeah, so these are the things we can use. Multiple techniques will be there. Most of the things like will be sending messages, sending fake mails, spam emails, phishing links. So we can distribute the malware over the web, right? Now, so what are the different ways for malware to enter into a system? What are the different ways malware enter into a system? Anyone? Yes. Okay. USB drive fork. USB drive, perfect. We can say softwares. We can say yes. Mails, perfect, guys. Yes. USB drive, softwares, mails. Yes. Anything apart from this? Websites. Yes. Yes. Websites. Right. Fake softwares. Yes. Good one. Okay. Like, can we say instant messenger applications? Instant messenger applications. Okay. And we can say portable hardware media, like what you said, that USB and all. Yes. And we can say whenever you're browsing, when you click on malicious link, that also leads to a downloading a malware into your system. And we can say, as you said, fake softwares, we can say rogue applications. Okay, decoy applications, we can say. And you said websites, right? Untrusted websites, right? So like the websites which will be giving the free softwares also, that will be harm to the our systems, where automatically whenever you download any file, any software from the open source things, there's a chance of malware get infected into your system. And downloading files from the internet. Okay, downloading the files from the internet also is one of the way. And as you said, email, like email attachments, we can say, right? And yeah, so these are the different ways that malware can enter into a system, right? Yeah. Now, so components of a malware. Components of a malware. What is meant by injector, guys? What is meant by injector? Or we can say what is meant by cryptor? What is meant by downloader? Anyone? Like we can say the components of malware software depend on the requirements of the malware author. We can say who design it for a specific target. Okay, let's say let's say as attacker I'm over here, this is my target. Okay, so I want to exfiltrate of that particular system. So that is we can say the attacker objective. So one attacker objective is we can say you need to steal the personal information from the system, and one attacker objective is he need to log that particular system files. Okay, so different attackers is having different objectives, right? So based on the objective he will build a malware, right? So for that they will use different types of components over here. The first one is cryptor in the sense it is a software program that can conceal the existence of a malware. Like attackers use this software like to elude the antivirus detection. Okay, to elude the antivirus detection, it protects malware from reverse engineering or analysis. Let's say you have developed a malware by using cryptor. So whenever they are doing reverse engineering and whenever they're using antivirus detections and all, the scripter won't detect by that particular reverse engineering process and analysis. So it is very, we can say, difficult to detect by any security mechanism whenever you are using the crypto. Okay, and downloader. What is mean by downloader? It is the type of Trojan like that downloads other malware or we can say other malicious code into your system. Okay, that usually the attackers install a downloader when they first gain access to the system. Okay, let's say as an attacker you are here, you gain access to my system. What you will do once you gain access to my system, what you will do, you will install downloader over here. Automatically it will download other malwares into your system. Okay, that is downloader. And the dropper is there. Dropper, what is meant by dropper? So it is a covert carrier. Okay, means we can say closed one. Dropper, you can say covert in the sense closed carrier of malware. So like we can say attackers need to first install the malware program or code on the system in order to execute the dropper. Okay, so once you entering into the particular system by using malware, then you can install the dropper. Okay, it can transport malware code and it can execute the malware code on a target system without being detected by the antivirus solutions. Okay, so that is dropper. And we will be having exploit. It is a part of the malware that contains code of sequence of commands. let's say let's say guys, exploit in the sense, yeah, you have hacked into this particular system. Okay, attackers hacked. So in order to do the step-by-step process in that particular system. Let's say first I would like to crash this particular folder. After that I need to go to this folder, I need to crash this folder, I need to steal the information from this particular folder. Everything step by step. Okay, that is exploit. We can say few lines of code, we can say, but things has to perform over the target. That is exploit. We can say next, injector. What is meant by injector? Injector, it means it is this program injects exploits or we can say malicious code available in the malware into the other vulnerable running processes. Okay, so injector will be injecting the malicious code for available malware. Okay, like we can say it will changes the method of the execution to hide in order to prevent from the removal. So it will change the behavior of the particular code, a particular process. And packer, this software like it will convert the code into the data of the malware into an unreadable format in order to, whenever you're analyzing that, in order to um, understand by the particular security professional, we will be using the packer. It uses compression techniques in order to pack that particular malware. And finally, payload. payload, we can say it is a part of the malware which will perform desired activity when it is activated. Okay, it may be used to deleting the files, or we can say modifying the files, or degrading the system performance. So whatever the payload you have loaded, that we can say that is payload. And finally, malicious code, that is our malware program, we can say. Okay, this piece of code that defines basic functionality. Okay, basic functionality, that we can say your end goal, macros, browsing plugins, or pushed content. Okay, so what we can say, that is these are the components of a malware. It depends on the objective of the attacker. They will choose the components. Virus stands for vital information resources under siege, or we can say under system, or I can say under siege. Vital information resources under siege, we can call it as virus. Okay, so virus is a self-replicating program which will produce the own copy by attaching itself to the another program whenever the computer boot sector, or we can say document. Okay, like we can say, so what basically virus will do, it will take entire system resources and it will be eating all the resources of your system. Okay, like all the resources whatever inside your system, it will eat your all the resources. Like we can say characteristics, like it will replicate itself within a system. Okay, let's say this system is got infected with the virus, so what it will do, it will replicate itself, it replicate itself within a system, but but needs, it needs human agent, it needs human agent. Okay, let's say this file is infected with the virus. When you click on that link, that will be replicated in the system. It needs human agent click. Okay, so it will eat all the, it will eat all the entire system resources. Okay, that we can call it as a virus. And we can say characteristics of viruses, you can see over here screen, it will infect other programs in the system, it will transform itself in the system, it will encrypt itself, it will alter the data, it will corrupt the files and programs, and it will self replicate, we can say. Okay, self replicate in the system, we can say guys, but it's need human agent help. Okay, so these are the characteristics of viruses. And so how does a computer get infected by a viruses? We can see guys over here, through the downloads, through the email attachments, through the browsers, through the pop-ups. Sometimes we will be getting the pop-ups, right? Whenever you open any website like Allo or Denny, that kind of pop-ups will be coming, right? So when you click on Allo, something called, we can say that virus will be get infected into your system. Okay, like removable media, backup and restore. Okay, let's say your system is infected with the virus, so whenever you done with the backup and restore, that can already with the restore, whatever the file, whatever the virus is there, that automatically infect into your system whenever you're doing restoring and all. Okay, and through the social media, we can say. And types of viruses guys: macrovirus, stealth virus, file extension virus, polymorphic virus, metamorphic virus, and a cavity virus. What is meant by macrovirus? What is meant by macrovirus? What it will do? Let's say macrovirus is nothing but guys, we can say, which will be affecting all the MS Office files, all the MS Office files like Word, Excel, PPT, that kind of files. If you are having in your system, if any virus is infected into your system, it will be affecting the MS Office files. Okay, and stealth virus. What is meant by stealth virus? Let's say what it will do, as soon as antivirus is detecting it, it will be hiding behind another one's detected. Okay, so that is stealth virus. As soon as antivirus is detecting it, it will be hiding behind another once it is detected, right? So that is stealth virus. What is meant by file extension? The name itself is telling that file extension. What's meant by file extension? What it will target, guys? What it will target? If you develop a malware or virus with the intention of file extension virus, okay, so what it will do? What it will do? File extension, let's say it will target, or we can say it will affect a particular extension. Okay, let's say in your system maximum we can say all the executable files will be .exe, right? So I can develop a virus, okay, we can say which will targeting the .exe files. So if it is infected in your system, all the exe files won't work in your system. Okay, and we can say polymorphic virus. It means whenever it runs, whenever it is replicating in the system, same code will be generated, but different algorithm will be generated. Same code will be there, but different algorithm. Let's say if it is moving from one folder to another folder, same code will run, but different algorithm will run. Okay, that is polymorphic. Metamorphic in the sense, we can say every time whenever it is replicating, different code and different algorithm, different code will be generated and different algorithm will be there. Okay, different code, different algorithm. Metamorphic, same code, different algorithm is polymorphic. Okay, and what is meant by cavity virus, guys? What is meant by cavity? What is meant by cavity virus? Cavity virus. Cavity in the sense like it fill up with the cavity, like we can say sometimes you have seen you are in a system we can say whenever you open any file, some kind of strange numbers, strange symbols will be displaying on that particular word file, or we can say any document. Have you seen any time? Have you seen somewhere in your system some kind of we can say random strange numbers will come up with your files? Okay, so if you are having that file means it will be removing the content of we can say original file, and it will be filling the unknown strange numbers in the file. Like let's say if your system is infected with the cavity virus, what will happen? Let's say one file contains some information. Okay, one file contains some information. So what cavity virus will do? It will remove the content of that particular original file. It fill the unknown strange numbers which is not recognized. We can say which is not we can say we cannot understand that kind of numbers and all. Okay, so it fill up with the cavity. Okay, that we can call it as an cavity virus. These are the different types of viruses based on their objectives, we can say. And so next, guys, what is Trojan? What is meant by Trojan? Anyone? What it will do? Any idea? What Trojan will do, guys? What is the purpose of that? Yeah, we can say Trojans basically, guys. Yeah, Trojans are malicious files, we can say, which are used by the attackers in order to create a backdoor access without knowledge of the user. Let's say as attacker, there is a system. If it is in fact, attacker will be sending the Trojan to the system, right? So what will happen if Trojan installed in this particular machine? It will give you the backdoor access to this particular machine. Okay, so whatever you're doing in the system, everything will be captured by the this particular attacker, we can say. So it usually deletes or replaces operating system critical files. It will steal the data. It send notification to the remote attackers. Okay, and remotely it will control the target. As the attacker, he will control this particular target. Okay, and Trojans usually hide behind a genuine code, or we can say it will hide behind a genuine program. Okay, so what it will do, the purpose is, we can say, in order to steal the information like passwords which we are storing in the system, right? Passwords, like we can say credit card information, credit card numbers, and it will use victim PC as a botnet in order to perform DDoS attacks. Like we can say, it will use the, let's say this is my system got infected with the Trojan, so it will give you the backdoor access to the attacker, right? So what attacker will use, they will use this system as a bot. It means it is a compromised mission, right? Compromised mission, we can call it as bot. Okay, why this, what uh, purpose we will use these bots in order to perform the DDoS attacks and all, we will use these bots. Okay, bot is nothing but, we can say, compromised mission which will be used for in order to perform the DDoS attacks and all. Okay, and what Trojan will do, it will delete or replace OS critical files, system 32 and configuration files will be deleting. Okay, done by the Trojan itself. And what it will do, it will record the screenshots, it will record the audio and video of the particular victim mission. Okay, so that is what will done by the Trojan. Yeah, what are the indications of Trojan, guys? What is the indications of the Trojan? What is the indications of Trojan? Any idea? So let's say guys, if your system is infected with the Trojan, means like the computer screen blinks, flips upside down, or we can say like we can say the DVD RAM drawer opens and close automatically, like the default background or wallpaper settings change automatically, web pages suddenly open without input from the user, automatically the websites will open. Okay, and sometimes the sound volume suddenly fluctuates. Okay, the date and time of the computer will change frequently. Okay, and we can say keyboard and mouse will freeze whenever you're connecting. Okay, and that kind of things, we can say strange warnings, like question boxes will be appear in front of you. Okay, so these things. Okay, the color settings will be changing. Okay, like the color setting of the OS will change frequently. So these are the few indications, guys, we can say few indications for Trojans. Okay, so what we can say is like how to mitigate them. In order to avoid the Trojans, what are the countermeasures we need to take? So what we need to take is, we need to avoid opening emails from unknown users. Okay, we need to avoid opening emails from the unknown users. Okay, and don't download any free software which is from untrusted site. So don't download any what we can say untrusted softwares from the untrusted sites. Okay, and we can say we need to block all the unnecessary ports which we are not using, and always upgrade to the antivirus solutions, and we need to turn it on, keep firewalls, IDS and antivirus solutions. We need to update with the latest patches and signatures, like whenever the vendor is released for any update, any patch, we need to update it. Okay, because existing and previous versions will be prone to the attacks, like they will be having vulnerabilities, that's why they will be releasing the patches for that, right? We need to do the patches, we need to update the patches. Okay, so that are indications and countermeasures when it comes to the Trojan. So what is worm? What is worm, guys? Worm, what it will do? So what is the difference between worm and virus? let's say like um, we can say virus, or we can say worm is a standalone malicious program which spreads from the computer to the computer. Let's say this system is got infected with the worm. This system is there in the network. Okay. Yeah, before talking about worm, just have a discussion about virus. If this system is infected with the virus, okay, when you click on that virus link and virus, it will propagate, or we can say it will replicate within the system. But if the system is infected with the worm, automatically it will transfer to the system in the network. Okay. So a virus is a program that replicates and it spreads from file to file in the system. It may be programmed to erase all the damage or data inside the system. Okay. But worm is like it is a malicious program, like which will originate on a single computer and searches for other computers which are connected to that particular computer in a network. Okay, it will spread over the network from computer to computer. Okay, and it does not need any human help, but virus need human clicks. Whenever human click, that virus will replicate in the system, but worm does not need any human help. Automatically it will replicate from system to the system. That is worm. Okay, and how to tell you for your computer is has a worm? We can say monitor speed and performance will degrade. Keep an eye your hard drive space. We need to look for our hard drive devices storage and all. Is there any unknown files or not? And be on the lookout of missing or new files. Whenever the file is missing means don't feel that you have deleted something. So you need to look out for what are the missing files and the new files inside your system. And so what is a keylogger, guys? What is a keylogger? What is the purpose of keyloggers? What is the keylogger, what they are, where they come from, and how to remove them. Keyloggers. Keylogger is a software program which is designed to secretly monitor all the keystrokes, right? We can say the name itself is telling. So this is your system. We can say if it is infected with the keylogger means whatever the keystrokes, whatever you're typing over there, okay, whatever the keystrokes on your keyboard, everything will be monitored by the attacker. It will be sending to the attacker. So that is keylogger. So how the attackers will steal the information by using these keyloggers, like they will steal your usernames and passwords which will be entering, right? And you will be entering the credit card details and verification codes, right? And it will be stealing your entire chart history, okay, whatever you're typing through the keyboard and all, right? And screenshots of your activity will taken by the attacker. So and whatever the documents you have opened, that will be stealed by the attackers, that can done by the keyloggers. And the bigger question is how to find out and how to detect and remove the keyloggers, right? Yeah, so it is very difficult to find out. Sometimes we can keylogging softwares in our systems, but what we can do is we can look for keyloggers in your running processes. Okay, just open the Windows Task Manager and look for anything is suspicious in that particular files. Okay, and check your firewalls activity, and we can say log for anything suspicious. And we can scan and remove keyloggers with an antivirus also. Okay, and how to protect yourself from the keyloggers, like we need to take some countermeasures. Always use an antivirus in your system. And we can say we need to set up the firewalls, we need to lock your PC, because there will be keylogger devices will be there, hardware devices, not only software. There is a hardware devices will be there. So whenever you leave your system in the office, someone will come and they will inject something, keylogging device, they will inject the keylogger inside your system, right? So whenever you're leaving your system, just lock your system in the company. Okay, and be careful on public and shared computers. Okay, and whenever you are using public computers and another systems, you need to be very careful. And we need to use password managers that will be helping for us in order to hide the passwords from the keylogger and all. And how the keyloggers will be spread, right? Keyloggers can be installed when user open a file and attached in email. Okay, it can be installed when a file is launched from an open access directory and a P2P network. Okay, P2P network. Okay, so these are the things that how the keyloggers can spread into your machine. And how to protect yourself from the keyloggers, we need to use one-time passwords for two-step authentication, we can say OTPs, and using system with proactive protection designed in order to detect the keylogging software, and using virtual keyboards, right? So that's why many of the bank site websites will be having the virtual keyboards, right? In order to enter your user ID and password in the bank websites or for internet banking and all, we will be using virtual keyboards, right? In order to avoid the keystrokes, right? So we will be using the virtual keyboards. And what is spyware, guys? What's spyware? So basically, guys, you can see what spyware will do. Spyware will infiltrate the device without the owner knowledge, and the purpose of spying and collecting the data that can be used for fraudulent purposes. Okay, let's say if the spyware is injected into your system. Okay, yeah, it will spy on your system. We can simply say that it will spy on your system. It will monitor everything, whatever you're doing, what sites you are visiting, everything. Okay, and and yes, we can say what spyware can do: breach personal privacy, because we'll be storing our personal information in the systems. It will collect confidential data, including, we can say, logging, keystrokes and all. It will steal the data, and it will result in identity theft and credit card fraud. Okay, what spywares will do, it will highlighting these things. And what is ransomware, guys? Ransomware, we can say, guys, it locks victim device. Let's say you are having system, okay, you will be maintaining some critical, or we can say, confidential information, different folders inside it. What ransomware will do, if it is infected into your system, they will lock all your files. They will encrypt all your files, right? If you want to decrypt the files, what you have to do is you need to pay you need to pay the ransom to the attacker. Okay, then only he will key the decryption key, so that you can decrypt it and you can avail the your confidential files. In order to avoid the ransomware attack, what you have to do, we need to take the backups, right? Yeah, that's we have to do. So hold device hostage, make data inaccessible through the encryption, and it result in financial loss, right? That is what ransomware can do. And adware. So what adware will do? Adware, the name itself is telling that it will advertising, right? It is a software which will display, we can say, unwanted, one second, yeah, unwanted advertisements on your computer, right? So most of the time we will be getting the adwares over the screen in your laptop. Congratulations, these kind of things, right? So that are adwares. When you accept it, when you are accepting, means that will be injected into your system. Mobile adware means ads on, we can say, yes, it means adware on your mobile devices, we can call it as mobile adwares. So sometimes whenever you are visiting untrusted websites, you will be getting this kind of we can say ads over the screen, right? It will asking you that click on this particular link, click on this particular link, right? Click on OK to accept some kind of things, that kind of ads will be coming into your mobile devices, right? So avoid the clicks over there. And that is mobile adware. And what adware can do, okay, like it an annoyance, it will lure users malicious site, it will install the spyware, and it will share the user data with the third parties. Adwares will collect the data and will share the data with the third parties. And what is rootkit? The name itself is telling that rootkit. Okay, it will be targeting your root level in your system. Okay, what rootkits will do? It will target the, we can say, it will target the root level things in your system. Okay, like we can say kernel level things, it will target the rootkit, kernel level things like bias level. Okay, it will targeting the bias level hardware and all. So whenever you we can say uh, reinstalling the phone and restoring the phone also, sometimes we are not able to delete the rootkits in your system. So how to defend against the rootkits? We should not ignore the updates, like don't ignore the updates, watch out for the phishing emails, be careful when you're downloading something, and don't download files sent by the people you don't know. Okay, sometimes you will be getting the we can say something attachments in your WhatsApp, in your mail. Okay, don't download into your system. Malvertising is a type of malware that comes from ads and legitimate websites, guys. Yeah, you will be using like Facebook, we can say, and you will be using like we can say Gmail, and any we can say LinkedIn, right? So malvertising means is a type of malware which will comes from ads and legitimate websites. Okay, so that is malvertising. What malvertising can do, it will result in ransomware attacks. Basically, they will steal the data and result in credit card fraud. Okay, yes guys, this is important, we can say. So whatever we have discussed so far, okay, totally about malwares, right? So when it comes to the analysis part, malware analysis will be there, right? So malware analysis is a process of reverse engineering, we can say, for specific piece of malware to determine the origin, functionality, potential impact of a given type of malware. Okay, where it is come from, what is the functionality, and what is the potential impact if it is executed in the system, right? Everything will be analyzed in the malware analysis. Okay, so malware analysis can be in two types, that is one static and one is dynamic. Okay, in the static malware analysis, what we will do simply, whenever the malware is installed in that particular system, we'll isolate that particular machine, and we'll take that malware and we will analyze it without executing. But in the dynamic malware analysis, we'll be taking that particular system to the sandbox environment in the corporate area. Sandbox environment, we can say, the separate network in the organization. So what they will do in the sandbox environment, so let's say this system is infected with the malware, so we will isolate this machine and we will push this machine into this we can say sandbox environment. In the sandbox environment, so what we will do is, first we will execute that particular malware. Okay, once it is executed, where it is targeting, okay, what files it is targeting, what is the origin, and what we can say what attacker is targeting, if it is executed, what could be the impact. Okay, so we can say this sandbox environment is isolated environment in the company. Okay, if it is executed also, no way it will affect the company. Okay, in order to understand the attacker strategy and all, we'll be doing the dynamic malware analysis in that sandbox environment. Okay, so that is what, in order to find out the root cause exactly, everything. So where it is come from, how attacker is targeted, what is the impact, what is the functionality, everything will be analyzing in the dynamic malware analysis. But in the static malware analysis, we cannot execute, we won't execute the malware in the static malware analysis. Simply we'll be taking and we'll be observing that particular file.